Thank you so much for staying tuned to your darling station, Independent Television. My name is Ikaro Atta. Evans Unukuje has been the one that anchored that first session from the Benin broadcast studio. And you saw the drama and what transpired yesterday at the court session of the Edo State Election Petition Tribunal, how that man was wielding that pump action and somehow working freely. And the fundamental question is, why was he not apprehended? And the other one is, what gave him the guts in a very highly secured environment like that to go about with that rifle and threatening the life of innocent person? Well, the PDP and the APC, for all we know, are already engaged in war of words. One saying, hey, that's your guy. The other one saying, no, it's not our guy. Check his words. He would be your guy. And everyone is saying, no, we don't want to be tied to that particular guy who acted in manner that actually contravened very mature behavior. But let's leave that for now. We'll come back. That's an unfolding story. Independent Television will keep you updated on that. And the guys from Benin are not going to be letting that to die down very quickly. One thing you can trust ITV for is follow up, and we'll keep that conversation until such despicable behaviors are kept out of the streets of Nigeria. Now let's look at hard times here. Times are indeed biting very hard. During the last media chat, or during the first, I won't say last year, during the first maybe media chat of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, just before we end the year 2024, he talked about the reforms in various sectors and how these reforms are going to be yielding results. That the tough times, we are almost out of it, and now we'll be seeing some soft moment when Nigerians will be enjoying the best of governance. Agriculture Minister, 2 days ago at the presidential villa, Senator Kyari said, look, we are putting everything in place to ensure food efficiency, food security, food surplus, so that in this year, through the dry season famine, we'll have a lot of food. But somehow, some persons on the street are saying, hey, when they choke here, Mr. President, we want to really feel that phrase or that sentence again that says, let the poor breathe, that they are not breathing very well. Now we'll look at hard times, economic reforms, and what should be done by government to ensure that Nigerians will not be going through such very terrible economic storm in the face of abundance. Sam Eke is joining me in the studio this morning. Wonderful morning, Sam.
Good morning, Mr.
Thank you very much. He's a public affairs analyst and an economist as well. Well, we want to extract quickly, taking a break from political discourse, which we've seen this morning. Times are hard. We are still going through biting moments. And someone said yesterday that most of the guys who traveled home for Christmas have not returned back. The streets are empty. Lagos, the traffic jam appeared to have disappeared in many areas. In Abuja, when you go through the Gwarimpa Expressway, the one we call the Outer Northern Expressway, you connect to the airport dual carriageway, and you find out that you are not saying the Yanya own is not also biting. People say, look, they can't make ends meet. The school fees is here, the house rents are all here. Well, are you not worried that we're still in lamentation despite all the promises from government?
Mr. Atta, I will tell you, people might say times are hard. Times were actually hard before now.
Okay.
The reforms came with pains, but as the government said, we are coming out gradually.
But at the pains, not much.
The pains were much earlier. We have adjusted. We are people who can always adjust to situations. Nigerians were living life whereby people spend extravagantly. People now sit down, plan properly.
But we may not spend like Paris. We may spend like those in Dubai.
No. We see, before the coming in of the APC administration, people live, I call it, whether it is a fake life, someone is earning 150, paying rent of 3 million, you know. You can't find that happening in this administration. Once you're productive in this administration, be rest assured times are not hard. I'll give you a little statistics. The amount of persons who travel for holiday in the last year, early this year, it's more than any kind of travel I have seen in the last 12 years. That's to tell you that they have recovered. They paid high transport rate between 50 to 65, 70,000 people traveling to the east. The ones going to Adamawa from Abuja paid up to 35 to 30, maybe 30 something. And the multitude that traveled shows that, oh, they have more money.
Are you not sure? Are you not sure that they just had to go because Abuja was already very hot? Some guys will say, "Look, I'm tired of this place. Let me just go to my village and rest." You know about that guy that said, "I'm tired of this country. I want to go to my village." That may just be what played out in December. So when you judge the vehicular movement down to the east as part of the economic stabilization policy, are we not missing it somewhere?
I'm not talking about the east. All over the country. Good. I just told you about Adamawa. Yeah. A lot of people went to Adamawa. A lot of people went to Plateau. A lot of people went to Kaduna. Yeah. A lot of people went to Lagos, and so on. Everywhere, people were traveling for holidays to go and spend the holidays with their loved ones. They were spending as
are you judging the ones you see in those billionaire guys in the east, in Anambra, where the Cubanas of this world, the chief priest, went for a funeral, and that took over social media. Don't judge that from the man who is going to eat mama's gari at home.
I also went to the east.
Okay. You're an economist. You're an economist and an Abuja big boy.
I can tell you, in the east, what I saw, I was shocked. People came home. The governors also made the environment a home for everybody to come. You can see the roads were good in their various states and so on. People spent.
But the roads they travel, some of them complain that the federal roads are not good going to the east. Maybe the one in the village or the ones around the state.
No, the state roads are very okay. The governors have done.
Then the federal road connecting the east.
The federal roads in the east. Yeah. It's excellent. It's good. The ones in the east.
But the ones connecting
the states.
The ones connecting the east. The federal road connecting the east. The one from Otukpo down.
No, I don't want to tell you.
That one is not in good shape. The Abuja, the Lokoja, Okene, Auchi, Oromi, Ebanke, Agbo Road is in a complete mess.
These roads are not in the east.
But they connect the east.
Yes, these roads.
The easterners travel through those roads.
And I saw the federal government doing palliative measures on the road so that
should they do palliative? Or should they
should fix the road. The Minister of Works have come on and tell Nigerians that, oh, these contractors, they are doing one thing or the other. I am revoking their contract. There will be new biddings.
But we're not seeing more of him on the road again.
No, we are not.
When he came at first, he was everywhere on the road.
We are not.
He drove to Ekpoma, drove to Benin, and the media covered him. But now, Dave Umahi, we've not seen much of him on the road.
We are not seeing
What's
much
happening?
of him.
Is he being affected by the reforms?
I don't know, but we are not seeing much of him on the road. One thing I will say is we should be hopeful that the hope agenda of the president will yield a result. Okay. And I know the president meant well for the country. The president understands where he wants to take us to as a nation. He also understands that without infrastructure, we're heading nowhere as a nation. The superhighway Abuja to Lagos, the Minister of Works was talking about, I learned by they were awarded, that will take citizens from Abuja to Lagos within 5 hours. We are waiting to see.
Where would they get the superhighways from? Don't we have enough highways to just be reconstructed and we are good to run? Do we need to have a superhighway?
So maybe
the existing carriageway that are already bad, can we get them to global standard and we keep that?
No, we can get them fixed and also get this ones, because one thing that has kept us behind is deficit on infrastructure. And I know this government meant well, and I believe that they might not achieve all they want to achieve. But one thing is sure is that the government will have enough money to execute most of the projects they want to do. So Nigerians should be patient a bit with the government.
You know, by May 29th will be 2 years.
Yes, of course.
And Nigerians will hit in 2 years, and we're still preaching patience.
No.
When we hit 4 years, you say 4 years is not good enough.
No. Look at the
message.
FCT. Look at the FCT.
Okay.
The Minister of FCT is doing well when it comes to infrastructural development.
So much enemies around Rivers and PDP and the...
That is a personal issue.
It's not personal, it's political.
Is a personal political issue between him and his political family in his own state. But in the federal capital...
also involved in the fight to some extent from this
and
angle.
Ireti Kikibe is the senator representing FCT, and her job is at the National Assembly and also to represent her people and speak for her people. So she is not meant to execute projects, even though she has constituency projects to do here and there. But the minister is not doing badly in FCT. That I give kudos to the president who has allowed him to do what he's doing. But at the same time, if these projects are being done, people are, they are Nigerians, they are things are happening. Economically, you have more cash flow within the system. We should be patient. Times will change. The stories will change. Enabling environment for businesses will go.
Mr. Sam, you're talking about we should be patient here. Have you checked food prices and food inflation? It's still in the rise here. Despite, you've seen the MBS report that inflation is still very much in the rise. With inflation in food prices, the conventional woman out, the one that goes to market, the egusi, the efo, the ugu, the meat, the gari, the rice, name it. The prices, let's even leave rice out of it. That one is almost becoming what the bourgeois. With the inflation rate still high and the reform still biting, the word patient is what those watching you from across the country and beyond will be asking you, is this man suffering with us? They will be asking you, are you suffering with us?
At least I go to same market with everybody.
But it depends on the size of your pocket.
No.
You can go to the same market where somebody is going with 2,000 naira and you are having 500,000. You don't price how much you pay and you put
No, that's not true. Lately, beans prices dropped. Nobody said.
Was that not for harvest? Because I know around 80,000, 85,000. Is it not for harvest?
Beans prices dropped from 300 and something to less than 100,000.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But someone saying it's just for harvest. That as far as when harvest stabilizes and they finish thrashing, and the beans, the decline or the decrease starts via occasion by consumption, we will likely see
tubers of yam dropped.
By harvest.
A lot of foodstuffs dropped. Rice, in the case of rice will also drop. Because the reforms, is not a prophecy, because the reforms is yielding result. Remember, the government gave 180 days for importation of food items.
That one elapsed.
Without paying for custom duty and so on.
But that has elapsed. It has not been renewed.
Most of these foods are already in the country.
Okay.
So definitely they will sell. We're entering new farming season by April. In 3 months, there will be a lot of food in the country. The security agents are doing their best to make sure that farmers get back to farm. And as you said, the Minister of Agri said they are ready for dry season farming, and they will also be ready for wet season farming. So food would be cheaper as we move forward. Already it's cheap.
But the cheap prices, many argue that we had harvest from, let's even put it from August.
Yeah.
The yams flooded the market, the beans are already out there. Soon we'll be getting our guinea corn. Let's use what we got from the Jero, the Dawa, and others. Yeah. Even the heads and others can move freely. But when all of these are consumed, are the silos stocked?
Yes. This is one thing I know. The silos that one in around Kwali is stocked with food. I personally saw over 5,000 trailers entering there, stuck with foods. So before now, I never believed that government would preserve foods like that, but I saw it for weeks. These trucks were coming in and it's stuck with food.
No, but okay, go ahead.
This is an example. That's to tell you, once there's a shortfall in the market, government would cushion the effect.
The problem we've also had in the past is about distribution. When the silos are stocked, let me believe you, because sometimes you may see trailer and the the trailers you are seeing may not offload. Somebody may take it somewhere. Even when government wants to distribute, you not worried sometimes the distribution. One big guy goes to the silo, buys off 2,000 trailers, and the next thing, there is no grain in the market, but all the grains are released from the silo. It's a game of man no man and the game of who you know.
I believe the government will be fair and they will do the right thing.
Are you not sure you are believing too much?
No. See,
because they will be asking you, are you not first watching
for the president
is
to
Sam
take,
not believing too much?
For the president to take bold actions on things like subsidy removal, local government financial autonomy, these are bold actions. Now he's also saying, oh, we must do tax reforms. The rich will pay higher tax. The poor might not even pay. You understand me? These are bold steps. Nobody...
But the tax reform appears to be hot in 19 states in the north.
It is hot because earlier it was hot. Today they have understood.
I'm not sure. Are you sure they've understood?
They have.
Ndume is not sounding as though he understood.
They have. Some of the governors are now, talking differently. Like the governor of Nasarawa.
But there are people on the conventional northern man who is on the street, who have gotten the narrative that targets the want to pitch the north against some.
The people who the narration that is against the north are the same persons who are coming on. We have understand. The narrative will go back to the common man on the street.
But let me ask you this, Mr. Sam. You defended President Bola Tinubu so well, and I'm very sure Onanuga, who will be watching, will be very, very proud of you. And the Minister of Information and Communication, Information National Orientation, Mohamed Malagi, will be very, very proud of you, because somehow, somewhat, you're doing their job very well. But the fundamental fact here is the president not putting too much reforms in his first tenure.
No.
Many have believed that you don't put all of this. Even those who analyze Donald Trump are saying, look, Trump is going to do so much because he's not going to look for a second tenure. But the president, Bola Tinubu, is he not putting too much? On the first day, the Eagle Square subsidy gone. This what do you call it? The exchange rates policies reforms coming. Now we're looking at tax reforms. Tomorrow we're going to get another reforms. With all of these biting reforms.
Remember, the president came prepared. He knows what he's coming for, and he's facing them head on and making sure that these things are done in his... He's not playing politics with it. He's decisive. We will get these things done. We got the subsidy done. Today, price can be 900 here, it can be 1,000 there. It is total deregulation. Now we are talking about local government autonomy. It will be total financial autonomy. We will move to tax reform. It will be total, it will give the states the ability to generate other sources of... States cannot just sit down. A state that has more than 20 kind of minerals, a state that have vast land to farm, a state that have... They just sit down and wait every month. The state Commissioner of Finance, the governor, they run to Abuja to share money.
But they've been sharing throughout the decades.
They have been sharing. But is it the best way to go? It has made populace unproductive. It has made the populace unproductive. Everybody cannot work in government. With all these reforms, the states will look inward. Investors will come into the state. A lot of businesses will grow. Gradually, the economy of Nigeria will be what it should be, as the giant of Africa, not just the giant of Africa, as the tiger of the black nation.
But even if we target and we got these economic narratives across board here, that should we do this, we are going to have enough money occasioned by subsidy removal. There will be enough money for the federal government, the state government, and the local government government for them to share and improve on the infrastructure. We have not been able to see so much of that going on now.
It is. It
We don't
is.
see so much
The
of that.
state governments.
Local government own is still zero. Some state governors we've not been able to see. Some being done by the federal government appear not to be with much of pothole patching.
Let me say something. Today, you can see that the state governors has more money. The state's government have more money.
But
than the
that particular fund, are we seeing the availability of such funds on ground?
Yes, I want to come. That's where I'm going to.
Okay.
I said I traveled to my state,
Okay.
and I saw projects going on everywhere. Roads were good within the state capital. Roads.
And the road you travel on, how was the road?
No. I didn't travel on the road.
Okay.
So I got to my state capital.
But you have other persons who told you
No.
their experience on
And
the
I
road.
traveled from my state to one or two neighboring states.
States.
And I passed through excellent roads.
Without potholes.
Yes, I can tell you, if you drive from Owerri to Enugu, there's no single pothole on the road, on that stretch while going to.
And if you are driving from Asaba through Onitsha down to Enugu, can you tell the same story of that road?
No. Can I say something? From Asaba to Anambra, you can see the second Niger Bridge done by the previous administration, Muhammadu Buhari. The Onitsha-Owerri road, it's not as bad as any other. It's not even bad. I think you can see potholes, but they are patched by FEBA and the roads. Those days, from Onitsha to Owerri, you can spend 4 hours at one point because of.
But somehow,
today,
some raise the point that,
today in less than an hour.
some raised the point that some of the patching you saw was patching meant for Christmas. When they patch for Christmas,
Hold on.
before you finish Easter, at the first rain, the second rain, every road, the road is very bad. That patching for Christmas is what we used to. The government patch for Christmas. And by April, May, the social media is awash with trucks and trailers getting stuck till November, and government patch for the next Christmas movie.
Do you know what will stop this? Citizens' engagement.
Okay.
See something, say something.
That's why people will be expecting you to be hard on the government.
Hold on. See something, say something. When the government does the right thing, please, let's applaud the government. When it is wrong, let's find, who is responsible for this? Do it right. But I can tell you, at the level of the president, he's focused. He knows where he's going to. He knows what he wants to achieve. I will also call on the president. If anybody is not performing the way you want, you can show the person the way out. Look at the Ministry of Interior. You can see improvement in getting passports. It has never been so good like it is today when it comes to.
We are still dangling with power.
No, power is a private sector investment. Let's be fair to the government. Power, generation, transmission, the only thing the government is holding is the transmission company of Nigeria.
Okay.
Generation is the work of the private sector. Distribution is the work of the private sector. But
the transmission is not working well. And we are seeing national grid
collapsing.
Like a very sick patient.
And I think anybody responsible for making sure national grid will stop collapsing, the person should do it. I can tell you
why don't the president sack the power minister? Why don't the president sack the power minister? When the shake-up was to take place, we were all looking at the power minister to go, because at that point, national grid was collapsing towards the sack, and the question Nigerians asked, how come we remove the small boys and leave the man on whose lap the national grid kept collapsing?
I just give you an example that power is the issue of the issue of the private sector. It is not the issue of the minister. You can't force a company.
But the minister is the one supervising. He's the one in charge. He's the one
their decisions
to order, and he's not calling them to order. And
he might be calling them to order, but he cannot enforce, because
there are certain clauses in when those properties were being privatized.
Yeah.
That if you fail on this, if you can't deliver on this, we are going to do X, Y, Z. And the minister is bringing at that big stick. The one many thought Malam Nasir El-Rufai would have been able to do should he had been allowed to scale through the screening and become the prime minister.
You see, the issue of power sector is a complex situation.
Someone said it's psycho-spiritual.
So I don't want to talk more, but I know the issue of power sector is a complex situation. The Aba Generation and Distribution Company, I read in the news that they have achieved 24 hours uninterrupted power supply since inception. So it's an improvement in the same power sector for people who are in that part of the country. So it's only when these businesses have enabling environment to thrive, you stop hearing stories like.
Okay, now let's come back now within the context of the hard times Nigerians are going through and the impact of the very numerous reforms of the president. We talked about difficult availability of food, and you're saying, okay, we're all quoting Minister Senator Abba Kyari, Agriculture and Food Security, the fact that government is working to stabilize dry season farming, ensure that we got wet season farming coming on board. We're able to do greenhouse farming and all of those things while we look for other ways to increase food production and availability. But when you look at the reforms, the price of premium motor spirit is still very high. The one they use to carry goods. Some of those little vehicles coming in from other parts of the country. With the haulage being very expensive, occasioned by these reforms, and Nigerians are still buying hard. Are you seeing any end in sight to this suffering?
The government have provided an alternative for premium motor spirit.
CNG?
CNG.
Okay.
It has just started. With time, a lot of persons will buy into it.
Yeah.
And once people buy into it, if you have a CNG vehicle and you're traveling to Edo State, and you have a cylinder that can take like 7,000 naira CNG, it should take you to Edo. Is the alternative provided? Yes. But is it adequately provided? No. So my prayer is more people in the oil and gas sector should also invest in the CNG technology so that it will be readily available for Nigerians to use. That will automatically drop transportation of goods and humans from one place to the other. Thank God the government have bought into CNG. Some persons will remain with PMS. Some persons will move into CNG. Some are using a DPK, which is diesel, and so on. So with time, ordinarily, transport will drop.
How long will they wait? That's the question. How long will they wait?
Before now, virtually 100% of our trucks were diesel trucks in Nigeria. Today, I can tell you, you have close to 40% who are on CNG.
Okay.
Automatically, haulage on big trailers, which we use for cement and so on, they can't complain that, oh, they have lesser prices for running their machines, which is the trucks. They have lesser, they spend less to transport goods, like cement and most of the
okay,
cement companies.
Mr. Sam, now you've spoken very passionately, defended the reforms and telling Nigerians to actually hope for better time, despite the fact that it's still biting and biting real hard. And then you'll be getting those text messages. Uncle, send me money. You get them a lot.
I do.
So much that times are hard. Cousins, nephew, nieces, everyone, they just greet you. When you reply, they send you text message and put an account number.
I do, but sometimes, anybody who is doing any form of any business in Nigeria today, once that business revolve around services and food, that person is getting return on investment.
Okay, let's hope that Sam, you're giving us that assurance here, but Nigerians are still saying that times are hard, things are tough, the economy is still biting and biting real hard. But you've given us assurance that we should wait. I trust President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his team that they will the economy, and we are going to pass through this period. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for time with us. Okay, thank you very much. That's how far we can go on this interview segment. The program is still at this morning on Independent Television ITV. We'll take a break. When we return from the break, so much on very burning national issue. Just last night, we got the truce announced between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. That killing would likely be ending by Sunday if what was announced yesterday is actually heard by both suspicious parties. We'll take a break. Other issues will be discussed after.